Soon we will talk about Saraya, formerly known as Paige, and whether she should wrestle and continue her career and go back to WWE. Check out more at the Locker Room at Toss Ring Scandal, aka KDH.
I'm tired of being humble. I'm tired of letting people think they got a chance. The tribal chief is head and shoulders above everybody.
Hey, guys, we're in the Locker Room. Toss Ring Scandal, aka KDH here. Turnbuckle King in the building. We should talk about today. The focus will be on should Saraya ever wrestle again, WWE or anywhere. Get the likes as we come into the locker room. About to air some dirty laundry on this one. Now, we know Saraya, she recently announced that she is no longer with AEW, known as All Elite Wrestling. She let her contract expire out. Now, she spoke about one of the main reasons why she came to the promotion wasn't due to her brother getting a deal by Tony Khan. His name is Zach Knight. So she basically wanted to see her brother do well. So she went along to AEW. Now, we know at AEW, she didn't do too much, but one accomplishment she did achieve in AEW was become the AEW Women's World Champion. The championship that she did win at All In 2023 in a four-way match with herself, Toni Storm, Britt Baker, and her crew Sheeta. Now, recently, Saraya has been doing interviews how she has a desire to go back to WWE. She wants to go back to the promotion that she first started her wrestling career in as far as major wrestling companies go, where she became a Divas champion and also became the NXT Women's Champion due to neck injuries and scandals and everything else. That kind of, tamped her career a little bit. The neck injury caused her to retire. She later became a SmackDown general manager. And then her and WWE mutually parted ways before she went to AEW. But now she said that not only she has a desire to go back to WWE, she says she's going to take wrestling a lot more serious now. She says she likes to go to Natalia's Dungeon Wrestling School. And she says she wants to give another shot at it. Thing about it is, will WWE give her another chance? Will they give her another opportunity to come back to the company? Can we see some dream matches with Saraya or Paige? Paige versus Liv Morgan, Paige versus Rhea Ripley. I know it's been a lot of talkings about those dream matches and other matches as well. So we got to see what's going to happen. Now, recently, Saraya has been doing interviews with Booker T on the Booker T Hall of Fame podcast, and also MuscleManMalcolm. She talked about both of those things there. So we'll see how she feels about coming back to WWE and wrestling once again. Let's check it out.
Left WWE. I mean, let's talk about that for a second. When you left WWE, there was so many people probably anticipating you, perhaps coming back to WWE, and then boom, you end up in AEW. Are there any perhaps, unfinished business in WWE, perhaps that you perhaps want to finish? Because you're still young. You're still young. Even though you started so young in the business, you're still young enough to still make a huge impact. So I was just wondering what's your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so I love WWE, and I don't have any negative feelings towards them. I mean, they raised me, they saved me a lot. I just appreciate them so much. And the idea of going somewhere else was only because, the potential of my brother being there was a big thing. I just wanted him to be a success in wrestling, And so, but I love WWE, and I would absolutely, if there was something that they needed from me, which was exciting, I would definitely go there. Yeah, absolutely. It would be silly not to, I feel so yeah, if there's an opportunity to do something fun, hell yeah, I'll jump on board.
Well, I will say you had an incredible career in WWE, but in AEW, watching you at Wembley come out to Queen, have that moment. I remember Booker and I talking about it on the show and just how impactful it was and how I felt like everybody was rooting for you to go out there and do it. And then you do it, get it done, and be able to celebrate winning the world title after, maybe you thought you weren't going to wrestle again. I know you covered in the book, but just what was that experience like, just walking out to Queen?
Yeah, so they surprised me with that, with Queen, because I asked for it, but it's really pricey, to like get a song like that. But I just thought, the Brits love Queen, they love Freddie Mercury, and they love to sing. Like, Booker, you've wrestled it before, you know how like intense they can get, and they love that kind of thing. So I was like, oh, I'd really love this song. And then they were like, oh, we don't think we're going to get it for you. But they did. And I was so like happy, and the crowd loved it. They were very much into it. And then I didn't tell my family there with me, but I didn't tell my family I was winning because I wanted them to have an authentic like reaction and be happy for me. But I bawled my eyes out because I never thought I would wrestle again. I never thought I would hold a championship again. I never thought I would be performing in Wembley Stadium in my life. So I was very grateful, and yeah, I cried my eyes out when Tony had told me the day before, the night before. It was like very last minute, it just I just said thank you. I'm like, this is incredible. I mean, I didn't hold it for that long, but like, it was,
that's definitely something we got to talk. We got to take a quick break, but that's something.
That's so obviously, it's gonna be a lot of wrestling fans that are coming out to these book signings and whatnot.
Yeah.
I was in the arena when you debuted for AEW, and I was sitting at the top of the arena. No one would ever see me. I had the seats next to Jesus, but like it was so loud in there when you came out. Did you have any nerves before you walked out that night? Because like, obviously you had retired and, you just weren't wrestling at the time.
Yeah. And no one knew I was there. I cannot believe we were able to keep that secret. Like, that's amazing that we kept that secret. And the girls that were in the segment only found out I was there like minutes before they were supposed to walk out, I was really nervous. I don't know how people are going to react. I was like, are people even going to care? And then, once I got out there, I'm like, this is one of the loudest pops I've heard ever. Not just for me, just in general. I was like, holy crap, people really love that I'm here. And it's just like, it was a nice surprise for people. And I was just so scared. Before walking out there, I was like, oh my God, I'm like, people will probably not make it like a sound, but I'm glad I was wrong. I'm very glad I was wrong.
Well, when I was sitting there with my friend before you came out, and I saw your name pop up on the screen, I'm reading your name, and then my friend next to me screams, holy shit, it's Paige. I was like, oh shit.
yeah, because I didn't know if people, because no one's known me as Saraya, and I haven't let people call me Saraya before. I was like, I wanted to keep that as like a little personal keepsake where like it's just more, but then I wanted to be Saraya. I was like, no, I'm Saraya, I'm like kind of taking control. But I didn't know that people knew me as that. So when the name popped up, there was like a little like murmur or whatever. Yeah. But then when everyone saw me, they were like, oh my God, like they freaked out. And it was like the most magical thing ever.
Definitely. What would you say is like the difference between Paige and Saraya, or is there even a difference?
There's not really a difference, no. But I guess the character within AEW is different, though. Like the character within AEW was more of like a chicken heel and like, like all that kind of stuff. But Paige is a badass, and she's not scared of a thing. And that's kind of like, it's me, but like toned up a little bit, like she's more secure than I am, Paige.
What did you think about like your match with Britt Baker when you first came back to AEW? Because like, people had different opinions online and whatnot, but that doesn't really matter. How did you feel about that match?
It was my first match back in like 5 years. I hadn't really done enough training, in my opinion. Like Britt had to carry me big time, and I was nervous. I was like, my wind wasn't perfect yet. Like it just, I mean, that's one thing I wish I could go back and do again for sure. Maybe we can like run it back one more time. But like, without Britt, I'm just so thankful for her because she was patient with me. She helped me. She talked to me throughout the whole thing. I just like, I felt like a deer in headlights, So I just like, if I do wrestle again, I'm gonna take this year to like step outside of it, but I will be going to Natty's training school. And getting some reps under me. So then when I do come back, like I'm back to being like how I wrestled before, because I felt like I wasn't giving it my entire all like these past couple of years. And I know that I would like frustrated with myself. I know I could be better than that. So like, so I'm gonna go back and like relearn my life again. It's gonna be really fun.
In this next year or so, do you have something in mind as far as like when you want to come back to wrestling? It's like as far as like maybe a time frame of like when in the possible year or so that you come back, or where you might come back to?
I've been asked that question a lot.
I'm sorry, I know.
No. It's okay. It's just I know people are excited about it, right? And it's like nice to know that people care and want me back there, in WWE. But like, I don't know. I haven't had a conversation with them. I just want people to know that, like, I haven't spoken to them in any way. But like, you know, like if there's something special on the horizon, like I would, I would do it. Just depending on a lot of things, you know. But like, yeah, I love that place. It's where I grew up. They raised me, you know, and they supported me through everything where I should have got fired, you know. And they are amazing. So I always have wonderful things to say about them. But and now that I'm like a free agent, I feel like, you know, comfortable to show my love for everyone, you know, because I'm not saying that we weren't allowed to, but it was just like, you know, like yeah, I just feel good to share my love now with everybody. I love AEW, I love WWE. Like I just had the best wrestling career that I could ask for, but I know that there's still stuff left in the tank. So we'll see where that ends up.
Oh, certainly. And to ask you another little generic question, whenever that time is when you come back to wrestling, depending on what company, depending on where it is there a certain person, a certain match or two that you want to have when you come back to wrestling?
Oh my gosh. No, I just want to come back. You know, I mentioned Rhea for a second. I saw that Liv did like someone in media asked her about me too. And I'm like, Liv, let's go. I love her. And I think that she's done some like wonderful things and she just gets better and better and better. And you see that she's so comfortable with who she is and what she does. And like, I mean, it's amazing. So yeah, Liv calls me out. I'm calling her out too.
Oof. All right. That's what we like to see. Hello. Now talk about a big title win.
Now, that was Saraya on both podcasts, Booker T, Hall of Fame, and MuscleManMalcolm. Now, she spoke about how she wants to come back to WWE. She has no ill will towards WWE. She had a great relationship with WWE. But she did speak on MuscleManMalcolm where she talked about how when she had her first match back in wrestling in AEW, and she said it was over 5 years, she said that Britt Baker had to carry her pretty much through an entire match because she was, you know, rusty, of course. She was nervous and everything else. And I believe with that going on with Britt Baker, you know, carrying Saraya, I think that's one of the reasons why Saraya wrestling career didn't go so well. I know, like I said, she was focused on her brother being there, but I think her heart just really wasn't into it. I remember watching her in AEW. I know she was with the stable, the Outcast, with Ruby Soho and Tony Storm. And she did, you know, she was partnered up with Harley Cameron shortly before she was gone from AEW. But I do remember that her AEW run, we all can agree, was nowhere near successful as her WWE run. And I think that's why she wants to come back to WWE as well, because she know her last in-ring stint in AEW was nowhere near where it should be. But I know she has spoke about being in the WWE Hall of Fame. She said about a couple years ago on the Nikki Brie show on the Bells podcast that she had a desire, if she was getting inducted, that would be a great thing for her. Let's check out the interview there. She said this a while back on their show.
I wouldn't get my hopes up for a long time because obviously I'm only just going to be 30.
I actually honestly think, Ray, it's perfect timing for you. I really do. I think you gave your body, you've given your life, your whole life has been wrestling, but like just giving your body, you gave to wrestling. Like you would still be wrestling if you could. And
well, can you? That's fully done, right?
Yeah, like for right now. I mean, my neck is fantastic. I'm having no issues with it, and it's like looking good and stuff like that. I still want more time though. Even though, I mean, I've had nearly 5 years completely out of the ring, which is, it goes by so quickly. I'm like, how? Like, you know,
crazy.
But yeah, like I can see myself in the ring one day, but it would have to be something really special and like for like a big moment, like even if it's like a WrestleMania, if they would ever want me to do something, it would be like a WrestleMania moment or something like that. I wouldn't want to.
All right, that was Saraya on the Bells podcast. She talked about back in 2023 how she would like to, even then she said she wants to come back and have a one-off match and be inducted to the Hall of Fame, because Saraya, I believe she's 32, 33, so she's still relatively young. It's not like she's in her late 40s or 50s or anything like that, of that matter. But I will say this WWE needs Saraya or Paige. Do they need her back in WWE? Should she go back to WWE? I would say, as much as I like Paige back in the day, no. Because a lot of things have changed since Paige has left WWE. We have a long slew of women that are talented in the wrestling game today. We got the names of Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Io Sky. We have Tiffany Stratton. You know, the list goes on and on and on. And then we're not even going to include the women that are on the NXT brand that's soon going to be called up, you know, with the names of Julia, Stephanie Walker, Lola Vice, Jada Parker, all those women. So I don't think there's a spot for her to be in the WWE. Now, if Paige were to come back in WWE in the near future, I can see her being inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame, but that is way, way, way down the line. I don't see that happening no time soon. And even she said that she's only in her early 30s. I don't think there's no need for it. It doesn't make any sense. Her time has came and went, and unfortunately, you know, she didn't really get a chance to do as much as she wanted to do, but she did do a decent amount in a short amount of time of her career with WWE. But I don't think she should come back to WWE in a wrestling talent. I know a lot of people on social media would like to see dream matches of her and Rhea and Liv, like I stated earlier, but I would say that's not really needed right now at this point. This is too many women on the roster. We can all agree that the WWE women on the roster is at an all-time high. We never seen this many talented women on one roster, so it's no spot for her. I don't think there's anything else for her to do except for a Hall of Fame induction. But that's all I have regarding Saraya Ever Wrestle Again, WWE Or Anywhere. You guys let me know what you think. Would you like to see Saraya or Paige back in WWE once again, wrestling dream matches, or should she just say call it career and just wrap it up? Check out the content on Toss and Ring Scandal, aka KDH. Until then, guys, you already know what it is at this point. It's OUT.